What's up guys, Sam Adams here, and last night Bethesda had their first ever E3 event, which a lot of people were shocked when they actually announced they would be having an official event, but as it turns out they had a lot to show us. So I streamed it live on Twitch last night, which I am exporting to my YouTube channel. You can check that out later. I did have some bitrate issues, so it's not the best quality stream until you get further down into the end of it. Whenever I actually nailed the bitrate, you know, I got everything running really well. So if you're looking for the highest quality stream, I would recommend going and finding the official Bethesda stream, but if you want to see me talk about it and it gets better towards the end, then stick around for that stream. It'll be available on my YouTube channel. As with all of the other press conferences throughout the week, I am going to put them on my Twitch channel and stream the ones that I can and host the ones that I can't. So go over to twitch.tv/prettychillguy311 and you should be able to get full coverage to some degree. So I went ahead last night and when I was live streaming, made a list of all of the things that I thought I deemed significant from the Bethesda press conference. So we're just going to give this list a quick read and give you guys a rundown of what happened if you don't want to watch the full press conference. So they kicked it off with Doom, and Doom looked absolutely gorgeous. Obviously, that's one of the flagship gaming franchises. Everyone knows Doom. It's just one of the first-person shooters that everyone is familiar with. And so it's coming out in spring 2016. There will be a multiplayer component that looks a lot like your pretty much standard competitive online arena shooter kind of thing, but it does look really good. I think the campaign is where this one is really going to shine, and it is gory beyond belief. Someone in the chat was like, "Oh yeah, I'm almost sold on this if only there was a chainsaw." There was a chainsaw, and it cuts people in half. Their heads off, their legs off, anything, it cuts them. So it looks really good. They then went on to announce Bethesda.net, which I see as origin for Bethesda games. It includes Wolfenstein, Dishonored, Elder Scrolls, anything like that. Fallout. It is just a general hub for all of the Bethesda games, and I think that along the lines, or on down the line, they will find some use for this kind of thing, but I think this is mainly just planning for the future, because they do see that Bethesda is going to be exploding over the next couple of years, and I think that the crowd's reaction from a lot of the announcements last night is definitely a confirmation of that prediction. So then they went on to show a Dishonored 2 pre-rendered trailer kind of thing, where it was supposedly gameplay, but obviously it was rendered on a PC that was made to play that game. And it looks really cool. If you aren't familiar with Dishonored, it's kind of got this steampunk atmosphere, and it has gameplay a lot like Thief, I like to compare it to, if you're familiar with that title from the launch days of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Pretty much you have to steal stuff, you're an assassin, it's that kind of thing. I never really got into the game, but what I can tell you is that if you did play Dishonored, you play as Emily, which is kind of surprising for some people. I need to go back and play it, but fortunately I will be able to do that on the next generation consoles, because there is a new version of the game coming out, the original Dishonored, with all of the DLC, remastered graphics, 60 frames a second, all of that good stuff for PS4 and Xbox One. So if you are wanting to play Dishonored 2 and you have no idea what happened in the original Dishonored, you are probably going to want to pick this one up. There hasn't been a price point set, but it is coming out in fall of this year, and Dishonored 2 had no release date, but it does look really good, and I will link that trailer down below because that's one of the ones that I recommend you check out. Then they went on to detail a new thing that actually I'm surprised didn't get leaked, called Elder Scrolls Legends. And if you're familiar with the card game explosion that's been going on in the past couple of years, Hearthstone is one of the popular ones. There's a World of Warcraft game, I think, somewhere around there, or that might be Hearthstone. But anyways, there are a lot of card games coming out. Gwent was recently in Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, and so now it looks like Elder Scrolls is getting its own card game in the form of Elder Scrolls Legends. This is not a literal physical card game, but rather one that you play on your computer, similar to Hearthstone, and I think that that's a pretty good idea, actually. The Elder Scrolls has a lot of lore that you can use to explore and create cards, and I think that this is going to be pretty good for people that enjoy that card game kind of thing. I enjoy it, but it takes a lot to learn how to really master the game, so I'm not really sure that I'll be able to master it, but it does look like something that's worth checking out. Then they went into Fallout, and I mean, I might have to skip some stuff, but they went into Fallout. Wow. They put out a lot of information about Fallout. So it takes place in the year 2277, and at the beginning of the game, you actually start out before the Fallout explosion. So you're in a normal suburban neighborhood with, of course, all of the weird Fallout, you know, robots and stuff. But it shows life before the giant explosion that wiped out the human race, pretty much. And you're actually sold a vault, Vault 111, and you go to that vault after the big explosion, and you are the only quote-unquote survivor that made it through the explosion. You have the dog, obviously everyone's been talking about the dog, they call him dog meat, and he actually helps you. If you played Valiant Hearts, you'll kind of know how this thing works. Obviously, that's a terrible comparison, but you can send the dog to retrieve certain things. If there's a wrench on a workbench, you can be like, hey, go get that, and he'll run over there and get that. That's a pretty cool mechanic, and I think that it'll help a lot in the long run, especially if they use it, if the developers used it in a way that, you know, you don't really have to follow the instructions if you can actually use it in just your everyday exploration, and I bet the guys over at Bethesda did do that. This game is actually going to be using multiple armor layers, so before you could pretty much just upgrade your armor and it would say, you know, you have 200 armor or whatever. Now you can upgrade your right arm, your left arm, kind of like how the enemies are, where you can target a left leg or a right leg. You can now boost up your certain head, or if you notice you're getting a lot of headshots, then you can boost up your helmet, all of that good stuff. That's pretty cool. As far as other stuff that's not in-game, the Pip-Boy Edition was announced, and this is pretty dang cool. For 120 bucks, which it's available for pre-order now, and I did make a video, which you can check out right there, talking about why you should not pre-order Fallout 4. Now I think it's safe to pre-order because you've seen gameplay, you know what it's going to look like, and you kind of get the gist of the story. So if you have to pre-order this thing, then I guess you can go ahead and do it. But the Pip-Boy Edition comes with an actual Pip-Boy that they have made, and you can actually put your phone into it and download a Pip-Boy app that they have made for Android and iPhone, which is actually going to be used as a second screen experience in the game as long as you're on the same Wi-Fi connection. So pretty much while you're playing Fallout 4, you can actually look down at your wrist and do the entire Pip-Boy thing. It's going to be really cool, and I think that it might actually improve your gaming experience. Obviously, it's more of just a cool thing whenever your friends come over and be like, hey guys, I got a Pip-Boy. But, you know, it's just one of those things where I'm glad that they actually put some usefulness behind the product. And in addition to this, there was also another mobile thing announced called Fallout Shelters, which looks actually pretty good. It's kind of like if Sims and Fallout had a baby and had a crossover. You can pretty much control your own vault, and you control the people that live in the vault. You figure out how to repopulate the vault, so pretty much you just pair up two people, they go make a baby, and you just have this dynamic world that you can just kind of grow and control your own vault. Looks really good. Can't wait for that, because it's unfortunately not available for Android at the moment, but I'm guessing that it's coming at some point. I'm hoping it is, because that just seems kind of weird that you developed the second screen app for the Pip-Boy, but you didn't develop Fallout Shelters for the iPhone. I don't really understand that. But they kind of closed it out by saying that Fallout 4 is going to be available on November the 10th of this year. That's pretty impressive, especially since it was just announced a couple of weeks ago. And that's pretty much all that I saw at the Bethesda press conference that really stood out. Battlecry had some honorable mentions, but that just doesn't look like something that's going to be taking off. It's if you're curious, it's kind of like a Team Fortress 2 developed by Bethesda, that kind of thing. And you can check out gameplay of that. I'll link some down below. And of course, you can check out the full Bethesda E3 press conference right here on my channel as soon as it gets done processing, or you can go over, give it a quick Google, and I'm sure you can find the highest quality stream, you know, 14,000p, 140 now. 1,000 frames a second. You know, you can find a really high quality stream and enjoy it that way, or you can hang out with me right here on YouTube. Whenever this one gets done uploading, I'll be covering the rest of the press conferences later on today. EA, Ubisoft, Sony will all be I'll be streaming them live over on twitch.tv/prettychillguy311 and then exporting them to YouTube tomorrow. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, drop me a like down below. Comment what you thought was the coolest thing from the Bethesda E3 event. And of course, as always, I want to thank each and every one of you guys for watching this particular video, and keep it right here for all of your E3 2015 coverage daily. Peace.